Hi, my name is Dave Manicherry. I'm the executive producer of special projects here at CBS 13. Wanted to give you an idea why we decided to get the Mythbusters on camera, and it actually all stems from this story right here. It's a story we did in February of 2007 on something called a hail cannon. About a group of farmers outside of Fresno who bought these giant devices that were supposed to stop hailstones from destroying their stone fruit crops.
What comes out of the top of this thing?
It's a vibrational sonic boom.
We thought the perfect people to answer the question as to whether this thing would work or not would be the Mythbusters.
Asking questions, getting answers, and blowing stuff up.
Oh, yeah. Now, it took almost 8 months, and when we finally got to San Francisco to the M5 facility, the answer we got wasn't the one we expected.
What do we got? Okay, can we blow it up? Can we shoot it? Can we remote control it? Can we burn it? You know, that's kind of what we do.
Believe it or not, most everything you see on the program Mythbusters is controlled chaos, meaning it's pure experimentation, just like in your science classroom.
That's fine. We're going to just crunch it.
So when we called Adam Savage to tell him about our hail cannon story, he told us it was such a great idea.
God, I'd love to do this on the show. I'd love to do this on Mythbusters.
He wanted to devote an entire episode to it. Several months and several research hours later, however, and it was clear this was a myth even the Mythbusters couldn't bust.
It's experimentally a real bear.
Wait a minute, Egon. I thought you said crossing the streams was bad.
So we all settled down to watch Dave Bender's story and see if on the surface it was a weather wonder or just plain busted.
That is the sound of one man's attempt to manipulate Mother Nature. But he wasn't the first. In the 1960s and 70s, the U.S. spent big bucks on cloud seeding experiments with some great names, probably inspired by X-Men comic books. I mean, check this out. They tried to control hurricanes with storm fury, snowpack with sky water, and lightning with sky fire. And that fire right there is not part of a barbecue, it's part of some cloud seeding equipment. In fact, they cloud seed a lot west of the Mississippi. The resulting rain helps crops, increases snowfall, and keeps fog from forming on top of busy airports, like Salt Lake City International. But what to do when you don't want weather like hail? We went to someone who thinks he has the answer.
If you look over here, our radar system is just starting.
This is John Deeperslute's kingdom, the Kingsburg Orchards. As far as the eye can see, and right in the middle, the high-tech Doppler radar.
We're trying to see when the weather pattern is coming up, the cells that are in it, if they're dense enough to create hail.
One hailstorm, and John can lose an entire crop of fruit and endure a cataclysmic chain reaction.
If I lose, yeah, it's my ranch. If they lose, it's their livelihood.
Hundreds of migrant workers at the mercy of Mother Nature. That's why John is so dependent upon Doppler and a low-tech contraption that has its roots possibly with the military.
I believe in World War I or World War II, they were seeing them in the war where the howitzers were shooting up at each other, and when it was shooting, there was no hail. So it was raining.
A hail of bullets.
Yeah, hail of bullets.
Now, the Chinese these days are actually using howitzer-like artillery shells filled with chemicals to seed clouds and to make it rain. But John wants to turn destructive hail into a gentle rain with this. It's a hail cannon.
What comes out of the top of this thing?
It's a vibrational sonic boom. When it hits the clouds, it just a little bit of vibration just to allow the ice to form.
Okay, here we go. Safety first. In the ears. I've been given permission to fire this off. We turn it on. Wait for the indicator light. I think we've got it. Here we go. Holy
John and about 4 other area farmers have spent over $1 million in 18 of these bad boys collectively. Hail insurance just got too expensive.
This is one of our few things that we can as humans change Mother Nature.
Oh, it's not nice to fool Mother Nature.
While John may be willing to bet the ranch with its cannons, many scientists don't buy it.
There are people, there are farmers that are grasping for straws, in my opinion.
Dr. Joe Golden has led research on weather modification for decades.
Ask meteorologists if there is evidence that they work. To my best knowledge, there is no evidence, scientific or otherwise, that they work.
John's heard the skeptics, but still,
We're hoping it works. The first 2 years we've had up to 6 and 7 hailstorms, potential of hailstorms come through, and we've come through it so far okay.
so you're pretty satisfied.
We are.
What do you think, Matt? It's a classic kind of, I mean, it's definitely wishful thinking. It's amazing that spending $1 million on the hail cannons is cheaper than the hail insurance.
Right.
And so I totally understand the financial reasons that they hope it works, but God, I'd love to do this on the show. I'd love to do this on Mythbusters. It's experimentally
Right.
a real bear. I mean, we'd have to be able to figure out an experimental machine for making hailstorms form at the speed of gravity here in the shop, and then watch them dissolve or not form with the hail cannon.
That thing, I wasn't making that up when I went like that. That thing is scary loud.
No, it's clear. No, it's a very familiar shot for us, the leaping from the loud noise. What do you think?
There's no question in my mind it's a lot of bunk.
Yeah.
I mean, you felt the kind of pressure wave, and that's all
Oh, yeah,
it is.
yeah.
This is a pressure wave. And do you think if you were holding an ice cube in your hand, it would have shattered the ice
I
cube?
knew exactly
Oh,
that.
no, actually, they go even farther, because I thought that's exactly how we could test it. They actually believe that where conditions could form hailstorms, they stop those conditions from happening. It's not that they dissolve existing hailstones. It's that they stop. So, in a way, the methodology makes the machine completely untestable. And the fact that it's untestable means to me that you should never spend any money on it.
It makes the clouds unhappy so they don't let loose hail. So, okay.
Here's a way you could test it. Here's a way you could test it. It would be really expensive, and we wouldn't have the time to do it. You would have to go someplace where you knew a hailstorm was coming through and put out sensors that you knew would trip when hailstones hit it.
Right.
And you would put one of these cannons in the middle, and hopefully what you'd see is a space around this cannon where hailstones didn't hit when a hailstorm came through. But it's like tornado chasing.
Exactly.
You know, you'd be placing out these things every few hundred meters for several miles.
And they're not going to be useful if they just make a kind of in a single area like that. They're setting them off saying that it's going to radiate up into the clouds and take it off of their 500 acre estate of grapes or whatever, and I don't think so.
Okay, there is another way we could test it. You could actually, now I'm thinking, you could actually go up in a hot air balloon.
I'm loving this, because this is probably the way you guys work out your scenarios, right?
Every morning.
Oh, this is
Every
great.
single morning it's like this. You could take a hot air balloon up and see, and actually at different heights map out the decrease of the pressure wave, which is probably based on the inverse square law, where once you get above 1,000 feet, there's just no vibration, basically nothing.
Yeah, well, to put it in perspective, you understand that if I yell at you here, you can hear me loud and clear.
Right.
But if you're a couple blocks away, you're not hearing me, right? Well, it's no different with a kind of a thing that's aiming sound up. The amount of sound that actually reaches the clouds off of a little bit of a settling that pops is going to be minuscule. So there you go.
So in the end, we got a very unique perspective on how a myth actually comes to be on the show Mythbusters. As for the hail cannon itself, while a very cool piece of machinery, according to Adam and Jamie, just plain busted.